So we ask the question, what does it mean to know wholeness? I explored that this week. That was my contemplation going in and out of meditation. And I had my notebook next to me. And every time a thought would come up, I would write that thought down. And so I wanted to share some of the thoughts I had about what does it mean to know wholeness. And for me, the first thought that came was to know wholeness is to embrace the allness of life. Did you notice I used the word allness? Not a part of life, not one side of life, but the allness of life. Because to know wholeness means to know all. You cannot separate the two. You see, this is the illusion that we've been brought up in. It's the opioid of the masses. That we can live a one-sided life. That we can be happy all the time. That we can always be kind. That we can always be loving. That we can always be smart. The fact of the matter is that we will always be in balance. And knowing that, the idea is, how can I more? How can I more know that life is all? And right now, what a perfect time to look at allness. Can you embrace everything that is happening around you in the world today and know that that's part of the wholeness? I'll say it in a term that we use in the West. It's all part of God. Nothing is separate from God because God is infinite. If God is infinite, then everything is a part of it. So we go to the other idea, and it's a different twist on it, but to know wholeness is to see that everything is a part of the whole. And if you take a puzzle, and you take a puzzle of all that is, you realize that if there's a piece missing, the puzzle is not complete. The puzzle is not whole. So death and life are part of wholeness. Illness and health are a part of wholeness. Love and hatred are a part of wholeness. It's the duality in balance that creates wholeness. See, to know wholeness, we have to realize that everything is in balance. You see, without balance, the world would self-destruct. When we're out of balance, we go into illness. When we're really out of balance, we can go into death earlier than possible. That's the key thing. Think about what stress is. Stress is being out of balance. That's all it is. It's not seeing both sides. It's being attached to one side or the other. And when we have stress, what happens? Because we're attached like that, we cause our body to go into a state where our immune system breaks down. So ideally right now, the best thing we can do is to keep ourselves in a state of balance, to see that life is in balance, to see that we are in balance, to see our partners, our children, our mothers, our fathers, the government, it's all in balance. The universe is balanced out right now in the United States. Year in and year out, or not year in, year out, the last 2 years, 19 and 18, 2018, 2019, the average number of people that die per day is roughly 8,000. Through the first 4 months of 2020, with COVID included, we're averaging 7,967 deaths through April 22nd. In reality, we're really right about the same number. But where's the emphasis right now? It's on COVID-19. Therefore, we tend in our minds to not see life in balance. And yet it is. As much as we don't like being tied down to our homes and we can't get out there, what's happening to the environment? The environment outside's improving. The air quality is improving. The water purity, the clarity in the water is improving. We're seeing science show this all over the place. There is a balance happening right now. The key thing is to be aware of it, to look for the balance, not just to see one side of the coin. You can't have a coin with only one side. There has to be two sides or the coin doesn't exist. To know wholeness is to embrace all aspects of ourselves. You see, that comes down. I got this when I was at a DeMartini event years ago. And John walked up to this woman and says, "What if I told you you were always loving? Would you believe me?" And she looked at him funny. He says, "No, what if I told you that sometimes you're loving and sometimes you're not?" She smiled. She could believe that. He went on and said, "What if I told you you're always kind?" She couldn't believe that. "What if I told you sometimes you were kind and sometimes you weren't?" You see, we try to believe that we don't have both sides to us. You know, especially in the role that I am in as a minister and a teacher, I would like to think that I'm always kind. The fact of the matter is, I'm not always kind. I have both sides. I do my best. But I realize there's all these qualities out there and we all possess all of them. And at times we may demonstrate those qualities. So when we are aware of wholeness and we express ourselves a way that we don't want to, we can let it go. We don't hold on to it. We don't beat ourselves up on it. But rather we can embrace we have it all within us. To deny any aspect of ourselves is to simply see ourselves as incomplete. To embrace only certain aspects of ourselves, it's to see ourselves as incomplete. Do you see? We were meant to be whole, and we have 50 to 100 trillion cells within us. We have, according to John, we have 4,678 human qualities, roughly. Everyone has those qualities. To deny that would be deny an aspect of ourselves. The idea is to know wholeness is also to accept our past. Whatever happens in our past, to accept it and to let it go. Learn from our past. But once you've got the lesson, let it go. Erase it. It's no longer necessary. Don't bring your focus back to it, because then you're dragging this big suitcase with you, this baggage. And what do we find with people as they go into new relationships? Well, it's not only I'm going into a relationship with you, but I'm going into a relationship with everyone else you've ever been with, because you're dragging the baggage of those relationships. No, bring with you the learning, bring with you the wisdom, but let go of the idea of jealousy. Let go of the idea that you're going to be insecure, or she's got to do, or he's got to do whatever you want to express love. Those aren't love. That's not love at all. If you are jealous, I'll share with you, you're not in love. That's your ego coming out. If you're angry and you're resentful, that's not love. That's your ego coming out. The divine that you are does not know jealousy, does not know any of these qualities of insecurity that we have when we enter into relationships. That's why relationships are so great, because we can look how we are in relationships, and from that, we can understand how much we love ourselves. Because if insecurities pop out, it's telling us we're not embracing our wholeness, or it's telling us we're not embracing the wholeness of the other person. But if we're not embracing the wholeness of the other person, rest assured, we're not embracing our own wholeness. Because to embrace our own wholeness, we'd have to be able to see it for everybody else. To know wholeness, then, is to live in the now, to be in this moment, without dragging in the past, without worrying about the future, but being right here, right now, being all that you can be to the fullest. And when you're in the now, there's no better place. It's in this exact moment that life has all of its meaning. All of its feeling is right now. This is the perfect moment. And this is the only moment we have control of. So to know wholeness is to be aware and to use that idea to take control back and focus our mind, focus what we're looking at. That's key to this whole thing. Who are we then? We are everything in our own lives. No one will ever know us better than we know ourselves. No one will ever understand why we do what we do better than we do. No one will understand our soul better than we do. No one will be better able to connect to wholeness in our lives than we are. We are a piece of the puzzle that is life. And yet, we are so much more than just a piece of the puzzle that is life. We are actually a microcosm of the macrocosm of life itself. But get this, we are a universe unto ourselves. There are over 50 trillion cells in our body. That's greater than the number of stars and planets in the Milky Way. We are a universe, and the creative power within that universe is ours to use. And it comes when we embrace wholeness and we embrace the awareness of that wholeness. Think about that for a while. We are a universe. You are a universe unto yourself. Who's the creator of your universe? Are you giving it away? And that's what we've done. We've given away our power because of false beliefs that we need someone else to make us complete, someone else to make us whole. It's just not necessary. It's only when we live in harmony with ourselves, with others, and with life that we can know wholeness. When we are in conflict, we don't know wholeness. We have no idea. You see, it's natural to be in harmony. To be in harmony means you embrace all aspects. You're never going to find another human being that you can be harmonious with all the time. It could be your spouse. I've been married going on 48 years. And while we have an incredible harmony about our relationships, we are very different in so many ways. But we embrace the fact that the other has the right to be their unique self. And the other says that I have the right to be my unique self. Because of that freedom that we've given to each other, we have peacefulness and we can live in harmony most of the time. I don't want to let you to have a false belief that there's not ever anything that causes a tipping of that scale. So there will be. We're human. And so you embrace it, you accept it, and then you move on. It's important that you move on. You see, to know the experience of wholeness, my belief is that we must meld into it first through meditation. Meditation is the tool that allows us to practice getting into that state of connection. The sutra that the Buddha taught, translated, was this: love thyself and watch. Do you notice what came first? Love thyself. In other words, accept yourself. Because once you've accepted yourself, now you can observe life. Now you can go into meditation. Now your mind can be quiet. But if you haven't accepted yourself, there's no way your mind will be still. It will be in constant judgment. It is eternally judging everything around until you've stilled it. And the only way to still this is to know your wholeness. And to know your wholeness means you must love yourself. You must see your perfection. You must understand and live a balanced life because you are a balanced being with the power to create and to experience life. The wholeness that we are, we move in and out of. And the reason we move in and out of it is so that we can experience life. Because if we were in wholeness all the time, there would be no experience. So while wholeness is the nirvana, contrast is where we get the juice. So it's the idea again, balance wholeness and contrast. And be grateful for whatever happens. Be grateful that you are now recognizing that you're unique. Give thanks for all of life, because then all of life will demonstrate its gratitude to you. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.